to Business in the Black, the podcast where ideas become plans, plans become actionable items, and actionable items become results. We are the go-to resource for Black entrepreneurs ready to build, grow, and dominate their industries. Each episode delivers real stories from real founders, their wins, their struggles, and the game-changing lessons that fuel success. But today's episode is a little different. This is our season 1 finale, and I want to take you behind the scenes of our entrepreneurial journey. Because Business in the Black isn't just a podcast about entrepreneurs, we are entrepreneurs. And this season, we took our own advice. Thank you for joining us in the season 1 finale of Business in the Black. Let's jump right in. So in episode 1, we talked about the courage to start. Literally, that's what it took me, the courage to actually start. I mean, you can't imagine how nervous I was for episode 1. I'm gonna tell you how nervous I was. In episode 1, literally, I had to take several shots. Like, I just could not do this sober. I'm sorry, my nerves were just shot. I was like, I'm gonna be in front of the camera and I'm gonna be like talking to people and I'm hoping that they listen. I'm hoping that I don't mess up. I'm hoping that, people think that what I'm talking about matters. All of these things were racking my nerves. And so again, I took a couple of shots. That's just it. But let's go back further than that. So when we first started, I said, okay, I don't have it all figured out. The last time I even recorded a podcast was in college. I had to do it to graduate. I know nothing else about podcasts. I listen to a couple of podcasts, so I get the idea. I know what I like, I know what I don't like. I knew what the vision was that I wanted to create for entrepreneurs, and specifically Black entrepreneurs, as they were going to be the primary guest. So I called 2 of my cousins and I was like, one of you is a videographer, shout out to Rambo Rowe. Another one of you has a marketing degree. So between the 2 of you and me as the host, we're gonna be able to rock this thing, right? Well, absolutely. That's what I thought was gonna happen. And it really has, for the most part, worked in season 1. So we started. I told them the vision and we were literally off to the races. I'm all about deadlines. So I knew without a shadow of a doubt that I wanted the first episode to launch on April the 20th. We'll talk about that shortly. I already told you I was nervous. I already told you I had a shot or 2. What I didn't tell you is that my cousin, who's the videographer, we recorded the whole thing. And literally, I think it might have been the next day or whatever before lunch. And he was like, I looked at it and I don't really like it. I don't like the angle. Or I forgot what he didn't like, but he didn't like something. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. So I went through all this and now you don't even like it? What kind of dry run is this? And what you mean you don't like it? I mean, let me watch it. Well, I did not watch it and I followed his creative direction. And of course we changed it and, hey, the second time around, I took less shots. How about that? So again, launch day was April the 20th. And I haven't discussed a lot of this with you all because it was my own personal thing. So April the 20th is my great-grandmother, Mildred Johnson, rest in peace. She died at 102 back in 2023. It's her birthday. So I was like, I like to start things on specific days that I know I'm going to be able to etch in my brain and remember, oh, I started this on this day. I launched this on this day. And the days have sentimental value. So shout out to Granny. And, that was the idea for April the 20th. So everything that I was doing was really leading up to that. So if nothing else, I wanted to launch on April the 20th, not April 21st, not April 19th, not April 22nd. Nope, April the 20th. That was the day. So I really pushed the team to get it done for April the 20th. Did everything go perfectly? Absolutely not. I already told you. We had to re-record an episode. And then editing. Oh my gosh. So, we edited the episode and you had to match up the vocals to the video. And it was just a whole ordeal. When I tell you it was an ordeal that, the videographer had to go through, trust me, it was. And I was just kind of in the background because I had done my part. So, chalk it up and this is what it is, And then we went to marketing. again, shout out to Lakedra Kiki Fuller. She is a marketing guru. I mean, literally, she went and judged up and made sure all of the cap cuts and all the things that, again, I knew nothing about. I did not know all these systems. I didn't know all the things of how to make the marketing really work and make it pretty. But she did a great job on episode 1 of making sure the word got out. She posted it to Facebook. So if you follow us on there, you've already seen her tag there. It shows that, she posted it. But basically, the team really pulled together, and probably about 9 Eastern Standard Time that night, it got posted. I got a text message like, it's up. Great, wonderful, goal met. When you launch something new, you have no idea how it's going to be received. Like, I literally had no clue what people were going to think. And so for the people who watched episode 1 when it launched, when I posted it on my social medias and on the social media for Business in the Black, I really appreciate you. Like, literally, people call and they're like, oh, I saw your podcast and I really enjoyed. I was informed and all these things. So, if it was something that I was nervous about, it was how it was going to be perceived, along with not launching on April the 20th. But also, having people to really say, hey, your podcast is funny. I got to laugh. Your podcast was full of knowledge. I got, stuff I didn't know. It really helped me to realize, okay, Brandon, keep going. And that first episode set the tone for everything that came after, because starting is just the beginning. The real work is the continuation. Feedback from the first episode, from the team, from people who watched it or what have you, let me know that trial and error definitely was going to be the trend for this season. If I heard it once, I heard it 1,000 times. Hey, you're not looking at the camera enough. You're not talking to us. You're looking at your computer. So I did all kind of things trying to figure this out. Like, I had projectors, I used teleprompters, all types of things so that I could really connect with each and every one of you. And again, that came directly from you. So so much, I just appreciate you. I can't say it enough for giving me the feedback to let me know, hey, it was great, but if you did this, that would make it so much better. So shout out to you. What I realized after starting this podcast literally was, hey, this is on you, on me. I have to do this. I have to be the one to interview the guest. I have to be the one to make sure that we have recording consistency. I have to make sure that we're launching the episodes on time as expected by the audience. So a lot happened, okay? Obstacles galore. I mean, between looking for guests, making sure that the guests were in place, making sure that you have the call to actually get the story. Because again, I'm Oprah Winfrey, remember, I'm literally making sure that we get to the story, because we want to make sure that we're, being good stewards of your time as you're listening. But, that call plus a recording call, plus the editing, plus, all the things, a lot of moving pieces, and a lot can come up and a lot can fall through the cracks. Not to mention life, okay? We'll get to life in a minute. But throughout that time, what we did was, as a team, we looked and we had different project management tools. Not gonna call their names, because when I talk by myself, I always say, they need to be sponsoring me, right? Okay? So if they're not sponsoring me, you just go find you a project management tool if you need something to keep you and your team on track. But in any case, making sure that we were on track for you was a big priority. However, things come up. Another thing that comes up again is life. Life in the middle of the summer. I mean, I'm at the prime of my life, okay? I have a car wreck. I've never told you all that. But if you go back to the episode with the Knee High Foundation, I did say a lot has happened. And by a lot, I mean a lot. Literally, I had a car wreck. The car blew up with me in it. Literally, it caught on fire and I was still in the car. Not telling you the full testimony, because we'll be in here shouting and we're going to get down to the business. But my tailbone broke, and it's still broken. It's healing, but it's better. My sternum broke. They had to surgically repair that. I had 4 ribs that broke. And in my brain, I still got to get this podcast out, because, again, the grind don't stop. We had enough episodes to continue going on, and then we had a small hiatus. and came back stronger than ever. When you're an entrepreneur and it's your business and something happens and you're the main piece of the business, you have to figure out a way to keep it going. And even if you have to take a little break and come back full force, do that. Make sure that you don't stop and you continue to create and build your brand. Team adjustments, partnering with other entrepreneurs. Oftentimes when two entrepreneurs are in the room, there's a little piece that people forget. Somebody has to be the customer. In this case, I was the customer. So when we're looking at the team that I had built around me, we had to make a few adjustments. And the thing is, it's okay to make adjustments when you need to make them for the business. So don't ever, hold on just because. You feel me? Feel me. Now, with that, make sure that you have learned enough, entrepreneurs, that you can continue going. You have to continue going. You have to continue to create. You have to continue to build your brand. You can't let one piece of your puzzle be missing and then it destroys the entire creation that you've created. So with that, I've learned a lot this season. I've learned a lot about lighting. I've learned a lot about set creation. I've learned a lot about editing and transitions. I've learned a lot about recording. There are so many tangible things that I have learned to make sure that we are continuing to create content for you all. I tell you, it is unimaginable. So again, there's a little bit of empowerment and motivation. No matter what, you continue to go. So the editing process, what worked? What didn't work? How did I improve? So again, initially with the videographer that was in place, you were matching video to audio. Now that's difficult. Done it before in a past life, but it's difficult. So in my brain, I was like, well, you know what? I am going to do it this way. And I'm going to record it and get the audio from the same place that I'm recording it from, because that matching stuff, that's going to take me too long. And I have to, again, push this out to make sure that we are giving the audience what they're asking for. Now, also, what if I had one episode, and it happened, where the video went out? Thank you that I had the microphones and the computer capturing audio. So during the editing process, I was able to say, okay, well, I don't have a video, so I'll just show pictures through this part. You didn't know that, but I'm saying that to say this. You have to be able to pivot. You have to be able to make adjustments, whether it be team adjustments, production adjustments, or literally adjustments to your own brain. Make sure that you are flexible and you're not so rigid and it has to be this and it has to be that and da-da-da-da-da when you are learning and creating your business to build your brand. Earlier, I mentioned my cousin who is the marketing person. Well, she learned a lot. I learned a lot. We both learned as we were going. So what platforms worked? So she told me from jump, cause, I ain't gonna be able to keep up with 5 or 6 things. So that's why on TikTok right now, you see hardly nothing. Because we decided Facebook and Instagram were gonna be our places that we do the most marketing. And, hey, we're learning those algorithms and we're working with them and moving forward. Now, with that, transferring social media followers to listeners, whole nother ball game. So, if you're listening, thank you. Okay, appreciate it. If you see this clip on Instagram or Facebook, go listen to the episode. Okay, Pumpkin? Please, because that's the whole purpose. You're just getting a little snapshot. So what she taught me was shorts. She was like, oh, well, you need to have a 5-minute short. So that's why over the season, you start seeing, in case you missed it, ICYMI, in case you missed it. Cool. So you start seeing those pop up. So we're evolving and we're showing growth and we're learning new things so that in case you missed it and didn't watch the full episode, you're still being able to get some action-packed gems from the guests, because the guests all season have given us unfiltered knowledge. Here's what I want you to take away. Every single guest faced similar struggles, but as you know, everybody's story is different. From the HR consultant who battled imposter syndrome, or the chef who had to pivot their business model, the difference between those who succeeded and those who quit are those who kept going. And so did we. This is our 15th episode. And in this segment, let's take a look back and really just love on some of our most memorable moments during this journey. So, was there ever a moment in your, entrepreneurial journey where you just really faced a lot of discouragement? How'd you handle that?
Oh yeah, let me tell you about that. So in 2018, I moved back to Georgia with my significant other. I packed up from my transportation service job. I left my place and I was on my way to big dreams. So I get back to Georgia and I had, came up with a plan of how I was going to conduct the business once I got here. And we had a conversation one day and he told me that this wasn't his dream. So that kind of was like a nail in the coffin, for somebody that, I done picked up and, made this life-changing decision, and to tell me that, Stella Pies is not his dream. So it really put a damper on me. Mm-hmm. But I kind of reconstructed my plan, pressed my way through, and still making pies. My main thing of being consistent is always being on some sort of outlet to let somebody know about Stella Pies. Whether I just speak about it, show a pie, run a reel on Facebook, to keep their minds fresh on Stella Pies.
Just be very, very careful. Like when you put content out there and you use hashtags and all the different stuff, the scammers are looking at that too. So once you have all your stuff connected to your accounts, that's like goes back to even the emails and all that. So I had started receiving emails from quote unquote Fashion Nova. And they did a pretty good job of masking it as Fashion Nova. Turned out not to be. And because my kids were modeling at that point in time, they're like, hey, we have this opportunity for you to be an influencer for Fashion Nova. So I'm thinking, hey, this is a great opportunity. They've discovered us, but they turned out not to be legit.
A pivotal moment is when you all reached 1 million views. And so 1 million views, that's a lot of people, okay?
It went absolutely viral. The numbers started to climb in a day, and I'm like, these people really, like, I'm like, this video, this is what they're interested in. So, but I'm like, hey, whatever works. So I started showing the kids. They got excited about it. I was like, okay, maybe this is where we need to be.
Today we have Dr. Christine James. Dr. James is a veterinarian, and she's been a veterinarian for 28 years. That is like,
right. Your first thing is, wait, you raised your child and did medical school?
Right.
Absolutely. What I wanted for myself was legacy for my children. I know this is something you were meant to do because I haven't met another veterinarian who is actually concerned about my pet and making sure that my pet gets what they need. And this is why when you change practices, when you move locations, I follow you. And a lot of times doors get closed because another door needs to open. Yeah. I was speaking with a friend of mine one time and I said, if I put something in your hand and I give it to you to hold, and you're holding on to it, and I got something bigger I want to give to you, if you holding on to that, I can't give you more. You got to let it go. And then I can hand you more.
Right.
And so at some point we have to learn to let some things go that are not working for us in order to get more.
Right.
And just showing my children that I had to tell you that my career was on a downward spiral would be not telling the truth. I was moving in my career in corporate America, and I stepped away. And I think it was one of the better decisions I've made in my life.
You can't function without having a plan. And that's one of the biggest things about if people looking for starting up a nonprofit, make sure you got your plan together. Because if you have a plan, it'll eliminate some of those long nights. Mm-hmm. I didn't have a plan. So I was up. I guess in a sense, I was flying the plane and building it at the same time.
So let's talk about Kirby just a little bit. So how has she shaped your entrepreneurial journey?
So Kirby is the reason why I do a lot of the things. Like, I make sure that I have money, I have food for her, make sure she's walked, make sure she's kept, make sure she's healthy. Like, when I say people think of their pets as their children, this is my daughter. Like, this is legit my daughter. So I do it for Kirby. We call Kirby Spot Palace KPP around here. So KPP associate, my roommate Jorge, he has been great. And he also was a roommate who ended up moving out. And I took that space and made it for the dogs. I will totally agree with you, though, circling back, that because we are a Black business doesn't mean we don't accept other people's money, right? You know, most business gurus...
Or care for their dogs.
Or care for their dogs, yeah. Most business gurus, and I'll get back to that one, most business gurus tell you that, you know, to really launch and expand your business, you got to use other people's money, whether that be credit cards, loans, grants, whatever it is you need, because everything coming out your pocket, you will... Luckily, you know, I've been able to maintain this out of, you know, my pockets and with the help of continuous clientele.
So I wondered if I had bitten off more than I could chew, and then voices that I had to do away with very quickly. It was like, can you do what you said you were going to do? Will you be able to get all of this done? Can you get it done when they expect you to get it done? So there was the initial excitement, but then there was the immediate trepidation almost of like, can I even do it? And then it was like, well, no, you can do it, because one, you know, this frat brother, he is not going to put you on if he has any hesitancy to put you on, and you can do this. Right. Like you talked about networking. So networking in general is kind of not my thing. I'll be honest. I'm not shy. It's so exhausting sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just one of those things. So a lateral network is phenomenal. And I think that when you network laterally, that space right there, you still run into people who know people up here. Are you doing what you can do? And I was like, what do you mean? It's like, think about what you can do. Like, are you doing that? And so I sat there and thought about it for a minute. I was like, what can I do? Like, there's only so much in the pandemic. There was only so much that you could do, right? But I was like, no, there are some things that I can do. So I actually started to make videos. And I would try to keep them at a minute or under and just talk very, very quickly about something.
Yeah. So I switched over to, you know, my mama said you can't cook, just because my mother is a big inspiration behind a lot of stuff I do. And the idea that I had when it came down to even jumping into culinary arts in the first place was really inspired by my grandmother. For one, me being able to work in the kitchen with inmates that also work in the kitchen. A lot of these inmates were inmates that were in jail for low-level crimes, and they were just waiting to be able to see when they were going to get out. Talking to them about, you know, what it is that they want to do when they leave. To my last day on this earth, where other people can be able to look back and say, I remember Darius Lennox. And he did something phenomenal when it came down to starting this company that changed other people. I know the first time I made a filet a la Oscar, my very first filet Oscar, I had to be about 22. I had a chef Alex. Shout out to Chef Alex Cook. It's my favorite chef. That's my guy. But when I actually was making this filet a la Oscar, there was several things that it requires when it comes down to garlic mashed potatoes. It comes down to grilled asparagus, um, your crab meat, and then also a filet mignon. I made my very first Philly cheesesteak quesadilla for them. They took it, they walked away. They came back probably about 5 minutes later, and they said, "This is phenomenal."
Yeah.
Mistakes that I made early on is starting a business or starting ideas with someone that does not have the same exact passion that you do. Then I would say to anybody that's making a decision to be able to try something, try it. Take a leap at something.
I was watching an interview with Kendrick Lamar one day, big Kendrick Lamar fan, and he really explained the importance of compounding.
There are certain laws that the federal government has, and even some state governments have, that will you need to know so that you can make sure that you have them in place, right? And so if you're growing from 1 employee to 400 employees, you need to know that you need to have unemployment, you need to have workers' comp, you need to have FMLA, you need to have these things in place, and at what number of employees these things need to be implemented. We always come to the principle of the businessman versus the entrepreneur, and what that is a businessman is concerned about selling a product in the way that the product is made. So if a businessman is selling shoes, they're selling shoes and shoes only. An entrepreneur has a mindset of how can I maximize my business and grow it beyond the point that it is in. And so the entrepreneur thinks about selling the shoes and with laces, and then selling a different set of laces, right? And then selling the shoe cleaner, right? And then selling the shoe horn, and then selling the shoe tongue, and everything that comes with the shoe. The entrepreneur is trying to figure out how to develop that and sell that too. And this book is called The HR Compass. It's a human resources guide for churches, small businesses, and nonprofits. It actually releases on November the 6th. So it will release this week, which you guys will probably see this next week. So it will have been released for a week. And so please go and support those people in your life that are starting businesses, that are starting nonprofits, that are active in ministry, pastors, ministry leaders, others who have influence within ministry. Go buy this book. It'll be helpful for you to understand some of those parameters and things that you can implement to make your business, your nonprofit, or your ministry more successful. The guests were great. And you know what I believe made this season so special? It's definitely you. Hands down, bar none. And when you were able to say, hey, I needed to hear this today. That's why I continue to create no matter what. Just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. Any feedback that was received, I promise you, it went somewhere in my brain. And to the entrepreneurs that reached out to be guests, thank you. Because the audience needs you and I need you as your Oprah Winfrey. To those of you who shared a post, shared the podcast with your friends, anything to promote this particular platform, I sincerely appreciate you. You just don't know, every time I saw a share or I saw engagement on the post, whether you were taking a poll or you were liking a post or loving a post or resharing a post, again, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's celebrate. Platform growth, we're working every single day. And again, that's why I appreciate every single share and every single mention of Business in the Black. On Facebook right now, we're a little shy of 700. So if you can get us to the 1,000, Ting tong, ting tong. Okay, that's what we're trying to get to. Let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. By season 2, I want to come back and say, wow, what did y'all do? We got 5,000 followers on Facebook now. So again, share the platform, share the podcast, share the Facebook page. On IG, we have about 130 followers today. You know, by the time this is published, we could have 500. So who knows? But right now we got 130. So I'm asking you all to share the Instagram, share with your constituents, share with the people who you know really need to plug in to Business in the Black. YouTube, building that. You know, we're available on all streaming platforms, but the numbers are easier to see on YouTube and Apple and Spotify. So I know we have 42 subscribers on YouTube. To me, that's huge. That's major. That's 42 people who have said yes to listening to Brandon and whatever guest he has on Business in the Black and want to be engaged in what we're doing here. On 22 subscribers on Spotify and Apple. I really don't know if it's Spotify and or Apple because you posted on the same one. So again, if you subscribed on Apple, thank you. If you subscribed on Spotify, thank you. If you subscribed on YouTube, thank you. So I just appreciate everybody who's buying in. These numbers matter because each one represents somebody out here in this audience that said yes to entrepreneurship and or to listening to somebody talk about entrepreneurship in hopes, just in case one day I can grab something from this, whether it be motivation, empowerment, or what have you. I need to listen to this. Someone chose to start. Someone chose to continue. And someone chose to build something meaningful. What did I learn this season that will change in season 2? To keep my hair on my head, okay? Because you've seen a couple of hair changes too. Ting tong, ting tong, okay? Thank you for attending the Lock Journey. Record early. You know, like, theoretically in my brain I thought, oh, I'll record twice a month and then be able to, you know, space things out and all the things. But the more I can record early to have time to edit and push the episodes out, the better. So if you're looking to be a guest, I want you. I'm ready to talk to you right now. So hit me up, okay? The email is down there at the bottom. Please hit me up, okay? Business in the Black at thebdmenterprises.com so that we can get these recordings, so that we can get these introductory calls, all the things that make this show what it is. Also, now, I told you all at the beginning, hey, you know, I had to take shots to do the first episode, but I'm getting better. I mean, as it relates to getting used to talking to the camera, just me. Now, with people, I'm pretty cool. But when it's just me, I'm like, oh my gosh, what is happening? But anyways, I'm getting better, you know. And with that, hey, I'm going to start going live, okay? Like, you're just going to see, I don't go live on my personal pages. I've never gone live. I don't think I'm that interesting. I just don't. But apparently, you know, that's going to help you all to stay with me. So as it relates to engagement, you will see a lot more from Business in the Black on our social medias. I'm even going to start doing a little maneuvering around TikTok. Additionally, I have a full marketing plan. Like, to build the brand, like, I'm thinking, hey, let me reach out to this group. Let me reach out to that group. So I have a whole email campaign in my brain. You want to know what I had? Imposter syndrome. I don't suffer with that on regular jobs, but with this, whew, goodness, it's been a struggle. So I wanted to make sure that I was actually going to do it. I was going to make sure that it was right. I'm a Virgo, so it's got to be right. And I had to make sure that I didn't start something that I wasn't going to be able to continue. So now that we're, hey, one season in, and I know that this is something that I want to continue to do, trust me, we're about to grow this thing. And I want each and every one of you to be a part of it. Season 2 will continue to dive into the real life journeys of entrepreneurs. I mean, the stories are out there, and I'm ready to make sure that they are publicized and people are telling their stories and promoting their businesses. So I'm looking forward to, going to Dallas, Texas very, very soon, like in 2 weeks. I'll be in Texas. So we're going to be interviewing people there. If you have, just because you're not in the Atlanta or the Southeast area does not mean the Business in the Black will not come see you. So if you have a business or you have someone that you think needs to be on this show, but they don't live in this area, let me know. I mean, people come here, I go there, whatever works. But I want to make sure that we're telling and amplifying these voices of the entrepreneurs. Because I like realistic goals, again, initially I thought, as long as you have the people, you can do this every week. Woo. Oh my gosh. That's going to wear me out. Okay. I mean, all the way out. So, realistically speaking, so that you all will know when to expect, new shows probably every 2 weeks. Show, skip a week, show, skip a week, show, skip a week. Because to me, that's a little more realistic looking at production, looking at getting people on the podcast, getting them recorded and all those types of things. So I want to set that expectation that, while we've been a little spotty in season 1, hopefully we're on the road to success having an episode bi-weekly. I'm also looking at doing some features or series because, while we hear these stories, that's wonderful. But what about expert opinion to even help these people who come on the podcast and those of you in the audience who really want a specific topic to talk about? So we're going to have people to come talk about financing your business and building business credit. We're going to have people come talk about marketing strategies. We're going to have people come talk about structuring your business, LLC versus S Corp and all these different things that you can get involved in when it comes to structuring your business. So just be on the lookout for all of these different new topics and new things that we hope to bring in season 2. If I could leave you with any final thought, it would be to keep going. Keep creating when you don't even know if people are listening, but also keep creating when you know that they are. When we started this podcast, we talked about having the courage to start. But now I realize it takes even more courage to continue. To show up week after week or episode after episode. To push through the technical difficulties, the schedule conflicts, the trial and error. To keep creating when you're not sure if anyone is listening. And then to keep creating even when you know they are. That's entrepreneurship. Not just the starting, but the staying. Not just the idea, but the execution. Not just the plan, but the persistence. So to every entrepreneur listening, you've got this. Keep building, keep growing, keep showing up. This is Brandon D. Morgan, and this has been Season 1 of Business in the Black. Season 2 is coming soon. Until then, keep building your legacy.